Hey, it's Kristen here for Balloon Talk Tuesday. Hold on a second. We're so excited. We're here with Bruce. Bruce is going to tell us a little bit about his business, what he does. So, Bruce, tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do? Are you a twister, magician, a little bit of everything?
Jack of all trades. I started doing this when I was about 9 years old. And when I realized I was never going to be the best magician or the best clown or the best ventriloquist or the best balloon artist, I decided just to do it all and get people laughing. So that's what I did. How I got into the business, a little magic store opened in my town of Clark, New Jersey. A friend of mine, David Kotkin, who I don't know if you recognize that name, but later on he changed his name to David Copperfield. We used to shop and compete for birthday parties together. David was from Metuchen, New Jersey. I was from Clark, New Jersey. The guy that sold us magic, Bob Boker, still in business. He has a magic warehouse in New Jersey. I think it's called Abracadabra Magic. Great guy. And I called recently to order some tricks, and his worker said, Bob always told me that he gave Copperfield a start, but we didn't believe him. I said, no, I could verify that. So I started doing shows when I was 9. A few years before that, do you remember the Catskill Mountains used to have all those great resorts? That might be before everyone's time. But when I was a little kid, we used to go there, and they had great magicians. And when everyone was out skiing and swimming and eating, I would just sit there and watch the magicians and the balloon artists. And I couldn't believe they could take a balloon and twist it into a shape like that. I got home, Mom bought me a book. Dad bought me my first bag of balloons, and I've been doing it ever since. When I tell people I've been doing balloons for 52 years, their jaws drop. And I say, what, you can't believe I've been doing it this long? They said, oh, we can't believe you're not any better at it by now.
It's funny with the introduction of all these new balloons and everything that's transformed, even in the last 20 years, it's definitely changed our perception of, wow, who would thought like a chrome, a reflex, a titanium, there's a magnitude of names you want to call them. But I mean, some of these things are like, you're putting science with chemicals together that is just like crazy.
So true. A big fan of the chromes. You should mention that. It totally took a regular sword and just transformed it into something that's amazing. You hand one of these to a kid in the chrome colors, they're like, whoa, and they're all over the place having fun with it. It gave the unicorns. When I show up at a party, I always had this theory. If you show up and say, ta-da, and give the kid something really nice to look at, then if you have to do fast things, it's okay because they already could see what you could do. So if I show up at a party, I want to give them something nice like a unicorn, and there's the chromes. In my imagination, I always imagined that the hooves and the horns should be made out of the same material. So, but again, like you say, the chromes adds so much. While we're on the subject, now these are something I can make in about 20 minutes ahead of time.
Right.
So it's nice for that little bit of extra effort. You're going in and giving a birthday boy or girl a really cool thing. I'll make a superhero, and it puts you in the door saying, "Wow, this guy could do something," And as I said, I've seen stuff much better than mine, but it's enough that if I do this, the magic, the ventriloquism, the clowning, it's all good. Now you were talking about clowning with Michael Bay the other day, and what he was saying is so true. When I was a kid, you were either a magician or a clown, and you could be a comic magician, but a clown for birthday parties were king back in the 70s, the 60s, even the 80s. But thanks to Stephen King and YouTube with the scary clowns, we really have taken a dive. And that's very true. But what I found is the clown is on the inside. So I'll go through my history. When I was 9 years old, I started as a clown. And later on, I found that it's just a costume. If they want you to be a magician, you can still do the same stuff. It's just going to be not as scary with the outfit. So now I offer both because in my area, I'm pretty well known as Bowie the Magic Clown. So people expect that. I'm doing shows for grandkids of kids I did when they were little.
Wow.
And then later on, they say, well, I got some kids that are afraid of clowns. Can you come as Bruce Bowie? So I just developed that. Even to a point where every fall, my wife and I, who's my face painter, and I do the magic and balloons and ventriloquism, we get hired by a family farm, that sells the pumpkins and they have all the rides and stuff. And they said, well, we don't really want a clown or a magician. We want those skills, but we need a farmer. So, I don't offer that. And they say, but we want to hire you for every weekend in October, 8 hours a day, full rate. Oh yeah, that's right. So then I developed, where did I put it? This will get us into advertising too, Tristan. But I developed a farmer outfit, and that's me before the Corona beard and hair. But again, the people just love it, and they call me Farmer Bruce. And I show up, and every year, like, is Farmer Bruce here? They come looking for me. So I'll do balloons all day long. I'll do 3 or 4 magic shows throughout the day. I found a nice sheep puppet we call Bah, and stuff like that. And it just, it's a fun thing. So that's the point I'm making is if you're a clown and feel like, I'm not getting much work because I'm a clown, just know your clown is on the inside. Your humor, your personality, all that is within you. You could change the costumes and still entertain, and that's really what it's all about is entertaining.
I think that's the really cool part you mentioned. It's about the costume change. It's about not being that scary clown to somebody who had a scary clown situation in life. And let's be real, we had that situation. So we know that a scary clown, even though a clown is just an imaginary figure, people are freaked out. I mean, sometimes you talk to people about it and you're like, you just can't even mention a clown. And they're all freaked out,
Oh, you're
There's
absolutely.
a thing called Factory of Terror here down in Fall River. And they actually, the year I worked there, they had a room at the end, and it was full of clowns and mirrors. So they were multiplying the amount of clowns you saw. And for some people, I mean, that was traumatic.
Oh, absolutely. And you're right. It's all about the costuming and the personality. But I'll give you a history of how I changed over the years. This was the earliest costume I could find of me. And should we get a little bit into advertising while we're at it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so now we have wonderful things. We have Google, we have Twitter, we have Facebook and Instagram. And so just with a little bit of typing and you could create all this stuff for free. Back then we had to work a lot harder. We had to create brochures. So this is my earlier costume. I think, my first costume when I was 9 years old, how we grow. I didn't know what I was doing. They said, hey, they want to hire a magician. So I went to the magic store I was telling you about. I bought all these great tricks. I tested them on my friends. They're all laughing at me because I'm really a lousy magician. So I said, Mom, I'm going to be a clown because at least I'm making people laugh. I might as well be a clown. So my dad, who had all this crazy clothes from the 60s, I have this red jumpsuit. So I put on this red jumpsuit. I didn't know about makeup. I took my mom's lipstick. I put on a big red mouth. I took a ping pong ball, colored it red, cut it in half, and stuck it onto my nose with toothpaste. I didn't even know about spirit gum and stuff back then. I did the show. Kids would come up and help. They go, are you chewing gum? I go, no, that's just, never mind. So we would help them, like that. Later on, I joined the clown alleys, and I learned how to, do the makeup and costuming and all that. So let's talk about business cards. Are you still there, Tristan? Did I lose you?
I'm still here. Hold on. Something happened. Of course, somebody had to call, but it's fine.
Okay. Should I keep going?
Give me 1 second. Yeah. Just tell us a little bit more about the history of your years and stuff, and I'll come back.
So eventually I moved from Clark to the Berkshires of Massachusetts, where I live now. And I did give up clowning and magic for a little while. And I did that because I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I was going to be a dramatic actor, so I put my comedy on the side. But again, I found that people still like to laugh. So when I moved to the Berkshires, I worked at a summer camp where I met my wife. I also met a young magician named Timothy Wink. Now, Timothy created a trick called Misled, where you put a pencil through a dollar bill. And who of all people did that on national television? David Copperfield. So it was like a little reunion, you know, it was kind of neat. So I started doing this in the Berkshires, and very quickly I became the most famous clown in the Berkshires because there was only two of us. And eventually I became the only clown in the Berkshires. If you do something long enough, you stay pretty famous. I've been in the Pittsfield 4th of July parade for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And I always love to hear, hey, there's Bowie. Hey, Bowie, there's Bowie. So the nice part about being a clown here is people know me. They're not afraid of me because I'm a recognized person. But again, a lot of times they say, hey, Bowie, can you come to my party but not be a clown? So I say, sure. So let's talk about advertising a little bit, how I try to stay relevant.
And especially for you, because let's face it, Facebook, Google, these places, these things, Instagram, they weren't around when you started. So tell us a little bit about going from a postcard or a flyer, going to maybe what you do now. It's kind of crazy to think that there's still opportunities out there to still send someone a card, even though people say print's dead. Print's not really dead. It's a lot of visual of what we do. So that's
exactly.
important.
Print is now computerized opposed to print. But you're right, and that's how we did it.
We know some companies who did that, so they put their magazine online and they don't even print them no more.
So for people under 40 years old, this is called a phone book, and look how thin they are now. When I started out, this thing was like, you know, you could use it to hold a plant. It was giant, you know, and so I used to be in about 4 or 5 phone books, and it was costly, but it was the way to get business. And a good tip about the phone book is this would get you birthday party business. It would not get you the big gigs. But I did a lot of birthday parties. That was my bread and butter. So this came in very handy. Least expensive way would be to go in these penny savers. I don't know if you can see that. That's my picture.
I do remember the
corner here. Yeah, and these were good. These were inexpensive. You could do these for like $5 a week. And the cool part is that if you were advertising these enough, eventually they would want to do a story on you. So here's an ad that I ran. I think this was the 90s. You guys see that? Is that showing up? Yeah. So that's my ad from the 90s. And then from that, they did a story on me. And where's that? So if you're a good customer, eventually they'll write a story on you. And here's me with some of my balloon creations. Oh, wow. So and that was nice too. But back then,
that kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, you're advertising in something. It's only right that they give you a little story.
Yeah, and then sometimes you're lucky. When I first started doing shows again in the Berkshires, someone saw me at a show, and he was a photographer. So they did a story on me in the Berkshire Eagle, which really helped my career. This one article,
oh, wow,
because he was a photographer, not just a writer. So he really gave me some nice publicity with all these shots, and that, you know, so that was kind of fun. Not much of a juggler, but that was a great publicity shot with the rings. And then about 10 years ago, they were doing a thing on kids entertainers in the Berkshires, and I got to be on the cover. So that was super. And these things go a long way. But now I'll take a picture and put it on Facebook and say, hey, you know, here's a memory for you. You know, so that's kind of fun things. Print is still important, and I would say never leave home without your business cards, right? So I showed you the one with the farmer already. So when I'm a clown, I never leave the house without one of these in my wallet or a few of these. And if I'm a magician or a balloon artist, I never leave home without a few of these. And if anywhere you go, I once took a business seminar for advertising. Yep. And they said, when someone sees you 5 times, They feel like they know you. You know, you look at Bob's Discount Furniture, one of these guys that become a homemade celebrity because they advertise so much. You know, Bob looks like a guy you invite over for family dinner because you see him on TV every night. So never leave home without your business cards. If you go to a supermarket, they have a bulletin board. Put these up. You go to a restaurant, they have a bulletin board. Put these up. If you get booked in an area, make up flyers and put them on the bulletin board. Say, hey, I'm performing here. And it makes a big difference. Now, people say, well, they might just throw out those business cards. Okay, well, let's give them something they won't throw out. So every time I do a show now, if I'm a clown, I show with one of my signature pens. And it has my picture on it with some balloons. And I never just give one. I always give two or three so they have something to give out to other people. If they prefer the non-clown, the same pen as Bruce Bowie. There's one of my ventriloquist figures, Reggie. Yeah, and I did that out of convenience. So whatever show I'm doing, I could grab the right color and give out the right pen. Now, I mentioned my wife is a face painter. So last year we found these pens for her. So when she does a face painting gig, she gives out one of these and also a pen.
Yes, by the way, that one was good. They had the mall that we used to be in. They had those exact pens, and I love that pen. I mean, that is an awesome, and it's a real wooden pen. If no one has seen it in person, it's a wooden pen with a little, like, I don't know, melamine tip to it with ink coming out of it. I mean, that thing is like great for any face painter.
Absolutely, and people see that they're not going to throw this out, and people are going to ask, "Hey, where'd you get that?" So you know, that's why I put the big pictures on the pen, and people like them because they're big, you know, easy to use. But you're right. If they see that, they're not going to throw that out. How about a business card for kids? Are kids going to keep a business card? No, but they will keep a coloring page. My good friend Captain Visual, who was a wonderful balloon artist, he wrote many, many books on it. I'm sure you've seen them. Also was a wonderful character artist. So he made one of these for me back in the day. It's me holding my giant magic wand, and I'm holding a little boy, but it's actually my ventriloquist figure, Reggie. And phone number at the bottom. So every show I would do, I would hand out one of these, and I would have imprinted crayon packets with 3 crayons in them. And then I would say, if you want to send me this, you'll get a discount. And once a month, I will pull out a winner for someone to win a free Bowie the Clown show. So I would always get tons of these to put in my refrigerator. And even if I didn't, every kid goes home with a coloring sheet. I really recommend these. Captain Visual is still making these. Very reasonable. You buy it once, you print it out forever. And it's a wonderful tool. So there's a giant business card that people are going to use forever. So that's about the extent of the stuff before we get online.
So basically, I put it down here because Captain Visual is still doing things. He has a bunch of stuff. He kind of just has been pushing it a lot lately. The Plumber Mizzou.
Yes.
The other thing, what is it? I can't remember, but yeah, you really have to check out Captain Visual's page. Really see what he has to offer, because he does have some amazing things and some unique talent there, and some been in the business for a while as well.
Absolutely, and a genuinely nice person who really cares about the industry, who cares about his fellow balloon artists and clowns, and yeah, really nice guy. He makes balloon bags now too that are really, really nice. The ones I've used for years is from Twist 'em Up, which is kind of based on a carpenter bag. There's so many wonderful bags out there, but you know, that adds to your professionalism. When I first started, I just had balloons in my clown pocket, which led to a good joke. I could say, name a color, I'll pull out that balloon. And they'll say, blue. I would reach in and, you know, if you pull out a blue balloon, they go, wow. But if you didn't, it's red. Okay, give me another chance. Pink? Okay, this time I guarantee I could do it. Reach in and pull a whole pocket of balloons. Oh yeah, there's the blue one right there. So you get the kids laughing. Um, that gets us kind of into performing a little bit. I always felt, well, if you're doing balloon art, if you get hired by, no, a lot of us do busking, which is great if you don't get hired. But I always prefer to get hired and to get my set fee. People say, well, can you come and just busk and charge for nothing? And I go, well, are you working for nothing? Because I prefer not to. So sometimes I'll work it out where they pay me the full fee, but I sell balloon tickets or they sell balloon tickets. But work it out so you get your money in the beginning. Because if you don't, you might be working all day for a lunch fee. So work out the details. There's many ways to do that. So if I am in a crowd and now they're paying you, you want to create a crowd. If you're doing a big fair and there's a lot of people walking around, how do you get their attention? Luckily, I'm also a magician of ventriloquist, so I might pick up a puppet. Okay, so this is how I start a lot of my shows. You might see some of my puppets in the background. One just fall. They're around somewhere. But I would start out with, I always heard that if you want to be famous, you have to have someone to introduce you. So I invited one of my friends to introduce me. Oh, hey, here's Mr. Bird. Say hi, Mr. Bird. Oh, hello. Hi. Oh, yeah. So do you remember your big job today? Oh, yeah. What's your big job? I don't know. You're supposed to introduce me. Oh, yeah. Well, go ahead. Huh? Introduce me. Oh, how do you do? No, not like that. You're supposed to introduce me to all the nice people out there. Oh, how does he do? Mr. Bird, don't you remember what we rehearsed? Huh? Here he is, master magician and balloon artist Bruce Bowie. Oh, yeah. Well, go ahead. You just did. I know, but you can do it too. Oh, here he is, a real messed up magician. Wait a minute. Did you say messed up? Yeah. No, it's master magician balloon artist. Master. Let the kids decide. Not very funny. Well, listen. Try it one last time, okay? Here he is, a real mastoid magician. Did you say mastoid? Yeah. Do you know what a mastoid is? Yeah. That's the when you I don't know. A mastoid is when you have a pain in your ear. Oh, I got that right. That's what you are. Would you behave yourself, please? Now, why don't you go home and I'll meet you home later, okay? Later? Yeah, I'll see you home. You're going to fly home? I'm going to take an Uber. You're going to take an Uber. Okay. Well, you go down here, okay? And if that didn't get their attention, or if kids are starting to gather around, excuse me, I just want to get a drink.
That was pretty good.
Thanks. So I would say, if I just put them away and more kids are gathering and you could tell they want to see more, I say, Mr. Bird, you need a snack? Yeah, can I get a banana? A banana? Birds eat bananas? I do. Well, okay, so I'll take out one of these and I'll say, here's another one. Okay, let me get you this banana. Oh, now we got two. Okay, here we go, Mr. Bird. Here. Well, yes, we have some bananas. Whoop, they're all over the place. Here, just take them all. Okay, have a good snack, and we'll see you later. By that time, all the kids are gathering around, and you say, hey, you like balloons? I happen to have one right here. And then you go into whatever you're going to make, The other thing is being playful. When I put my owl, I made an owl balloon somewhere. Oh, here he is. No, that's not it. This will be very quick. I'm a very fast balloon artist. I'm just going to make a quick owl. Okay, that's good. All right, so let me just color in the eyes. Okay, so I just made this owl, and this is Hootie. Say hi, Hootie. Oh, yeah. Hootie, hoo, Hootie, hoo. What's your name, young man? Bob. I used to know a fellow named Bob, but he spelled it backwards. How do you spell it? Oh, you spelled it the right way. Would you like the owl? Hootie. Would you like to go home with Bob? Who? Bob. Who? Bob. Who? Quit being a wise guy. Bob, here, take him, So just adding a little bit of playfulness. Entertainment value. People will call you again. People will hire you again, opposed to just being the balloon factory guy. What do you want? Dog? Don't know if I remember the dog. I was absent that day. Here you go. Tell your friends I'm here.
Yep.
Who are you going to remember more?
It's funny you say that. Recent experience, someone was saying that they offered this girl a serving job, but she wasn't personable and she didn't like to talk to people. And I sat there and I thought to myself for a minute, I'm like, but she's the one greeting us when we come in. So I know in general she doesn't talk, but you're greeting us. So you're right. The personality is everything.
It really is. And
you really just have to acknowledge the person, welcome them, and it's not that hard. But you're right. There's a level of feeling miserable being there and actually doing the work to be there. Those are two different scenarios, And if you're not happy to be there, or you're not happy to do this kind of work because your personality is not that great, then, speak to other people in the industry who have been doing this for a while, who maybe you can build some, trust with and stuff like that, and try to learn how to do it properly.
Absolutely. And the key is to be true to yourself. If you don't like doing the one-liners, don't do them. If you want to learn them just to have some, there's so many avenues to use, but be true to yourself. I'm a forgetful person, so my character forgets everything, or is very bumbling. But if you're very debonair and that's not your personality, people aren't going to buy it. Saying words wrong. I used to misuse words a lot, so I make that part of my act. I say the wrong word. What do you love? If you love a Bugs Bunny cartoon, people still remember Bugs Bunny. I think it's making a comeback. Or Roadrunner. If that's in your personality, use that sort of humor. But find who you are and be true to yourself. The classics. The kids see it, you don't. If that makes all the difference in the world. I know we're not supposed to blow it by mouth anymore. But here's a great little thing that I learned years ago. So you can, hey, it's the worm that swallowed the golf ball. You need something quick. Here you go. But there's also a bit you could do with this where I meant to blow that up all the way, but let me just take this off. Okay, there we. Oh, it's back. Okay, good. Okay, let me just take this. Okay, now it's gone, kids. Good. So we don't have to worry about what? It's back. Oh, I didn't see it there. Okay, let me just. Okay, now it's gone. We don't have to worry about the ball anymore. It's not there. Sorry about that, kids. Okay, got it. And what's cool is that you can make a little ball ahead of your time, have it in your pocket, and say, "Oh, here it is." But don't swallow it in front of the kids anymore because people get worried. What if my kid does that? We used to get away with Tom and Jerry type of humor, but times change. So it's just a little bit you could use. And if you don't know this bit, as you squeeze it here, it's just going back to the top. You squeeze it here, it goes back to the middle. Fake to pull it off, and just use that timing, and it gets people laughing. The other thing you could do is the wilting flower, or the mind reader. It'll go down if you tell the truth. I'm the world's best balloon artist. Stay up if it's the truth. I'm the world's second best balloon. I'm a balloon artist. I'm not even a balloon artist? What, am I the worst in the world? quit saying that. So you could do a bunch of silly stuff like that.
So what areas do you service?
I'm mostly known in Berkshire County, Massachusetts, which is Pittsfield, Dalton, the Adams, Great Barrington. But when the economy went bad in the late 90s, I started going to New York State, to Vermont. I'll pretty much go anywhere. I still have some people that remember me in New Jersey. I'll go back there once in a while. But as I got older, I like to keep it in about a 200-mile radius.
Right.
Unless it's, if we're doing the summer camp circuit, I'll go out to New Hampshire, Maine, wherever they need me, as long as they'll put me up for a few days, and we combine the shows with seminars and balloon clinics and stuff like that. But mostly, the older I get, the least I like to travel. And of course, this year changed everything. We went from doing 7 to 12 shows a week. I think I'm doing 1 or 2 a month if I'm lucky now. And of course, I played it very safe. I don't know, all the virus stuff. You're going to have people with different opinions about it. Mm-hmm. All I know is I'm in my 60s. I'm diabetic. Yep. I have a brand new grandson. I want to be there for my family, for my daughter. My wife is a little bit older than me. She's in good shape for her age. Luckily, she switched to teaching. She's an art teacher, so she went to switch. She got a job teaching virtually online, which is great. Her school needed an online teacher. Mm-hmm. So I'm very thankful that she gets to stay home and teach.
Right.
But again, it changed the game. So how did I adapt? I started doing virtual magic and balloon shows. So what I will do is I will offer a balloon show. I will offer a magic and puppet show. And then if they want to, I'll do a balloon delivery. So the unicorn and the princess I showed you earlier, those are actually for a balloon delivery I have to do tomorrow. So I got those all made up. I'll do a little video of hello to the birthday child, and then deliver that on their birthday. But again, I'd say I'm going to wear the mask, hand it off. They pay ahead of time, so there's no contact, and you just have to go with the flow. You have to be very safe. So this pushed me into an early retirement, which was nice because I didn't realize how tired I was. Right. You're doing all those shows, and I love it because I would be tired in between the traveling, the getting everything ready, but I was never tired doing the show. I always had tons of energy. I always feeding off the crowd because it gives me energy to see happy people. But again, you miss that audience when you're doing a Zoom show. You don't know how people are responding. You're just guessing from, they used to like this when they were in front of me. Hopefully, they like it now. Which brings us to the next question, Tristan. When this all comes back, and hopefully it will, hopefully in a year and a half, we're back to doing live shows again, and everything's back to normal. What will change? The first thing I know is I'm not going to be. When I started doing balloon artists in the 60s and early 70s, I don't remember the pumps. Now we have these great Filbert pumps and all the electric pumps and the battery operated ones and even the hand pumps. These are always a good. Have this in your case. But we all mouth inflated back then. It was almost like a macho thing among balloon artists. Oh, you don't mouth inflate, you're not really doing balloon art. And luckily that changed. If you do restaurant work now.
Yes. It's funny because you speak to a few of those people still. They remember that. But now it's different. Definitely a restaurant job. You wouldn't be, doing that stuff.
And I still do bits where, let's see. If, let me find a couple rounds. Some great bits that I used to love. I don't know if I can go back and do this. I make a flower with a geo, and I'll say, well, to make it look really nice, I'm going to put these in the middle. But the key is they have to be the same exact size. Hey kids, will you tell me when this is the same size as this one? Mm-hmm. Is that about? Oh, sorry about that. Let me try that again. Okay, good. My bad. Is that about this? And you can do this, and kids are cracking up by now. But again, can I go back to doing a bit where I'm blowing up balloons by mouth? I don't know. I used to use the mouth coils in the magic show where you're pulling all the colorful ribbons out of your mouth. Am I going to have to pull that out of a pocket now? SpongeBall magic. SpongeBall is so wonderful because you do it in the hands of the spectator.
Yep.
Do I have to go to not doing it in their hands? I actually started working on a SpongeBob routine. Do I have time to do it? Yeah. That. Well, let me. I'm switching instead of doing it in the kid's hand. I'm going to just do a telling routine. And by the way, if you do magic or balloons, tell stories. Keep these things going with the stories. It's always intriguing. If you can't think of a funny joke, tell them a little story. If you can't think of a story, talk to them. So what's your name? Oh, and how long has that been your name? Oh, really? You're 7 years. And how old are you? Oh, you are 7. How old are you going to be when you turn 8? 8? Oh, I was 8 when I was your age. You just keep the conversation going. But here's a little routine that I thought of where I don't have to do it in their hands. But I say, I was 9 years old. I learned how to do magic. My first magic lesson was with the great Rinaldi. He said, today we learned the secret of the red ball. And I don't know why he talked that way. He grew up in New Jersey. But I said, Mr. Ronaldo, that thing is huge. I can't do magic with that. It's too big. He said, this will not be a problem. And he took the ball and he made like a crease. And then he made another crease. And then he kind of twisted it. And then he went, boop. And he actually broke the ball in half, just like that. I said, wow, that's good. He said, can you do magic with this? I said, yeah, but my little brother is, he's 6 years old. And I think that's too big for him. He said, this will not be a problem. And he took the ball and he kind of just twisted like this. And he kind of did a thing like this. And he went, boop. And now he pulled off a different size ball. He said, would this be good for your brother? I said, yeah, but my little sister, she's 3. This might be too big for her. This will not be a problem. So we'll take that, and we'll give it a little twist, and we'll give it a little tug, and there we go. Is that be good for your little sister? I go, yeah, but you know what I don't get, Mr. Ronaldo? How did you get that little ball from a ball that was this big? I just don't understand that. So here's a routine that I used to do in the spectator's hands that I might be able to do just by adding a story and doing it in my hands. It's not the big, wow, I put my hand and the ball's in my hand.
Right.
But again, it might entertain them with a story. And that routine also a great attention getter if you're trying to build a crowd for your balloons. The nice thing about doing balloons is all you got to do is blow up a balloon and you usually start to get a crowd. But if you also want to show them that there's entertainment value, I always add a few tricks in as well.
So you got a lot of history, unique things that you've learned in that time. Any last thoughts on what somebody should be doing and not doing right now, and where do you see the industry going forward given COVID?
That is such a great question, and I wish mind reading was one of my things, or being a soothsayer and seeing the future, but we can only guess. And I've been around long enough that I see things cycle. We talked about clowns are really, everyone has claustrophobia right now. Don't be a clown. But then I'll bounce back. 10 years, everyone might love a clown again. You never know. The balloon industry, we love twisting balloons. And here's a little piece of happiness for you. But there are also a lot of organizations out there that are claiming to be green, that balloons are not safe for the environment. So we have to, you have to sell that. I use environmentally safe balloons, and I always clean up after myself. My balloons get picked up at the end of every show. My theory: leave the place better than you found it. So if there's trash when I pick up my balloons, I pick up the trash too. I always leave the place better than I found it. And you don't want birds or young children coming by and picking up a balloon scrap. So as far as the future, I think things will bounce back. How long it will take, we don't know, but it will. But just be ready and get the word out there, and don't give up. Keep on, living the dream, so to speak.
I think that's a valid point. I mean, I think in speaking with customers ourselves, there's some customers that are doing really well, some customers that are in the middle somewhere, and there is honestly some customers who probably in the bottom of the pile. And when I mean the bottom of the pile, I'm not meaning like it's bad or anything. It's just their perception is a little different. So in this particular situation, I remember speaking to a customer, and all they kept saying was, well, venues need to open. Venues need to open. Yeah, well, venues need to open. Everything needs to open in reality. But what are you doing to change that? I mean, I think balloon yard art became a thing like more than ever before.
Huge.
With restaurants, to go orders became a big thing. Online commerce became a thing. It like surpassed the next 5 years of what they expected in growth. I mean, we're sitting here trying to figure it all out. We're just like everyone else, you know. We don't have the mind read we want to have, and you know, we understand that everything that happens, whether it's a package that doesn't get delivered but says it was delivered, or you're missing product. I mean, it affects all of us. But at the end of the day, we have to be careful on how we approach everything, because the reality is we're people just like you, and we're all going through it. And there's no difference in the fact of, listen, we've been through this for a year, and at this point, we're fed up. So you're right. You got to kind of keep bringing your business forward, even if you're maybe not quite where you want to be, but always try harder. You know, graduation, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day, 4th of July is all coming up. There's no reason why you can't get some balloon jobs out of that. There's no reason why you can't, like, I saw Smarty Pants. He actually figured out how to work with the library. You actually register with the library, and the library pays him, and he has his shows now online virtually. So there's so many cool options for people who may think they're out of options, you know. And sometimes people don't know where to turn because, well, maybe they're not tech savvy, or maybe they're not used to using something. So it's a time to learn, time to change, and find someone who can help you.
That reminds me of something too. So right now, basically, this is our best friend when we're, you know, it has all the phone numbers, it has all the info, it has all our things on it. Let me show you the 1980s version of that. It's called the Rolodex. And this could be a performer's best friend back in the 70s and 80s. But the point I'm making is, if you wait by the phone to ring, or wait for the phone to ring, it's not going to happen. When businesses start to reopen, don't wait for everyone to call you. Get on the phone. I'm going to go through my Rolodex and call every one of my contacts and say, hey, guys, we're back. Are you having your events again? What do you need? We're there to help you. And if you're not comfortable on the phone, you know, people say, I hate calling because I can't take the rejection. It's a numbers game. If you make 100 calls and book 5 shows, that's good. That's 5 shows you wouldn't have had. And if you do a good job on those 5 shows, people are going to recommend you. Keep in mind, if you're not getting repeat business or word of mouth business, you're not doing something right. That means there's something in your act or your skills that you are not doing as well. Or you're the best in the world, but you have a competitor undercutting you. So you got to understand your market. You got to call and be competitive price-wise, and you got to find out why you're the best at what you do, why you're different, what is your niche. But use those things, and don't expect the phone to ring on its own. If you know, I used to have to study the newspaper every day and see what events are coming up. Now we have this. Just go on your phone. Wow, there's 5 events this summer that I didn't know about. I'm going to see if they need me. You know, and if you don't call, believe me, somebody else will, and it's usually somebody outside of your area. So you might as well call first. But yeah,
I think that's what kind of amazes me the most in this industry, as far as people answering the phone, availability, how fast you get back to someone. We get a lot of calls, believe it or not, for, you know, regular balloon work. Now, that's not generally our line of work, but we reach out to our customers locally and ask them, you know, did so-and-so call, ask for this? And they'll be like, no, you know. So I think there's a level of, you almost kind of become, when you do it right and you're attentive, the business does come. And everything that Google does it for a reason, because they know generally that you're responsive. So it's all things to think about, you know.
Absolutely.
Kind of
and there are ways you could check on your own to find out your Google rating and all that. You don't have to pay through the nose for it. Just get those. You know, it helps if you have a young kid. You have children. My daughter, actually, my wife is pretty amazing for her age. She does a lot of it too. But my daughter will come in and just, oh, you need a Facebook page, Dad? Here you go. You need the. So she's been a lifesaver for me. And one more thing about professionalism I forgot to mention is if you're running a business out of your home, how do you answer the phone? If you just say hello, they're going to know it's a residence. I always answer my phone, hello, BTC Entertainment, how can we help you? And before that, when I was only doing Bowie the Clown, hey, Bowie the Clown here, can I help you? It lets people know it's a business. And I always have an answering machine still. People say, what's that, an antique? I said, no, that's called an answering machine. But you have answering machines built into your phone now too, so you don't even need that. But I still have a landline. Professionalism, if you send out a letter or a contract, have professional letterhead. It makes a difference. People see that logo, they're going to remember it, and they're going to say, oh yeah, hey, this guy's professional. Here's the matching envelope. So spend a little money on your business. If I deliver balloons, if I'm not in costume, I always wear something that's printed. I love this because it's nice and warm. I got my BTC fleece on.
Yeah.
BTC Entertainment. Like you have your U.S. Party shirt on. And again, it's advertising. I remember when I was a kid, radio stations, you'd call in, and they say, hey, you just won one of our T-shirts. And it's send you the WBRK T-shirt or whatever it was. And you're so proud. Hey, I won something. No, you're advertising for that radio station, So, advertise yourself. It's free. It's good. That's why I give out the coloring pages and everything that has your name on it. If you have a magic suitcase or a balloon bag, is your logo on that bag? If not, get it sewn on there. I don't know if you can see the giant business card in the background. That's one of my backups, but that goes on my magic bag when I do shows. When I'm a clown, it has a Velcro back, so hey, I stick the clown one on there. When I'm a farmer, I stick the farmer one on there. So these are just little ways. Remember, they see you 5 times, they think they know you. Keeping your name in front of people. And I'm not world known, but in Berkshire County, I'm like a little minor celebrity wherever I go. I went to Target the other day. I said, can you tell me where your plastic tubs are with the lids? Don't you mean the balloon section? Because they recognize me, So, like, oh yeah, hey, how you doing? So it's just nice. And I like being known in a small community. It's less pressure than being all over the world.
Yes.
But so that's what I do. I hope what I had to say was helpful. Things that have worked for me. I try to stay relevant, but and I will, although I feel semi-retired with COVID now, I hope that we do bounce back. And I don't know why, but everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And sometimes things happen because it's just nature's way of saying, hey, it's time to slow down. It's time to smell the roses. Just do it with a mask on.
I think you're right. I mean, I think the reality shock was for a lot of people who, that you saw that lost weight and had extra time to do things that they've been putting off for years and years and years. A lot of motivational stuff came out of 2020. Things that probably in the normal course of doing business wouldn't have happened. I think it gave us a lot of reflection on family. It gave us a lot of reflection on our own selves and everything that happened in 2020. It was definitely a year that we'll never forget, and we'll never want to live through again, even though we're still living through it.
Yeah. So true. So true.
So thanks for joining us, Bruce. Be sure to join us next Tuesday for Balloon Talk Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Tristan. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.